everyone to the LEC studio. Fnatic, they are one win away from the LEC finals. Now, I'm gonna admit it, my analysts, me, everyone, we know nothing. We had no idea this was coming. And to be frank, you at home didn't know either because you voted for G2 both on the Twitter poll and on the chat poll we did in ReadyCheck. So we're stunned, so we're gonna reset it, and I'm gonna also ask my analysts to reframe expectations. So at home, you get a second chance, and you can tell me if Fnatic is going to win the series right here in Game 3. Spam yes or no. And now we shall, I think, reset expectations here on the desk as well. We thought Fnatic were the underdogs. We thought G2 would most likely win with 3-0 or 3-1. That is not the case. So let's start talking about what didn't work out as expected. And I want to start with the bot lane, Deficio, because you have some choice words for G2's bot lane.
Well, I definitely think if you get the chance to counterpick Rakan, you get Xayah Morgana on your side, you must be able to do a lot in that lane. And in this one, they actually lost straight up 2v2. That was very surprising to me. I saw the draft, I saw the first pick Rakan, and I felt, okay, this is the chance for G2 now to have more than just the mid lane actually getting some kills. This should be a game for Perkz and Mikyx, but especially Mikyx really struggled in this game and got, honestly, let's just say it, problems from Mikyx's side, but also Rekkles and Hylissang playing amazingly well in this 2v2.
Yeah, and just to salt on the wound, because you saw the Garen and the Yuumi clips, this is now twice that G2 have had the counter pick for bot side, and maybe Perkz can hold his head high, like, you know what, I got out of that lane, my Xayah was okay, you know, Mikyx didn't have a great game, but ultimately, Fnatic are slamming G2 in this bot lane.
And I also think that's very interesting because we had the all-pro vote, which was very contentious, in which a lot of people put Perkz first and thinking, okay, this is a bot laner vote and not a marksman vote, but you have a Garen Yuumi lane, and then you have just a regular, an Ezreal versus a Xayah Rakan in Game 2. So,
it's a statement from Fnatic's bot lane right here.
It's a huge statement.
They are outplaying G2 on that side of the map. That is really key when you look at the entire draft, because G2 decided to leave the TF open again, saying, listen, we have a great setup bot lane. We have Black Shield for Morgana as well. Akali, we want to have her so she can snowball against the TF. And they also pick Shen ulti as another potential counter to TF. So I actually think leaving it open was smart, because they had all the right tools. But then you get things like the bot lane not being able to gain an advantage with the Morgana. Then you have Shen giving up early first blood 1v1 to a Renekton just kind of out of nowhere for no reason. And you kind of become just Jankos and Caps.
Yeah.
That's literally the entire team for a moment. And then the TF is just amazing because the ulti, again, makes it so hard for Caps to actually play the game.
So incredibly difficult. We talked about the bot lane. That is going in favor of Fnatic. And then in the beginning of the show, we talked about Jankos and how important he is in that team, and he's still performing. But you talked to me about, for him, his job is not, oh, it's easy because all my lanes are winning, normally. Right now, it is all my lanes are kind of struggling and overextending, and I don't know what to do except for mid.
I mean, everything is on fire for Jankos.
Yeah.
So he's going to the one place that you still have kill pressure, which is going to be in the Akali TF matchup. Now, the TF ultimate is causing so many problems for Caps in these team fights. So anytime Nemesis shows up, Caps is like, I wish I could just try to hard carry this team fight, but they see me, my shroud is now meaningless. But Jankos can keep going there. He did have a good game. Caps and him are pretty much the only members who actually look alive from G2 right now, at least in my opinion. Because again, mechanical mistakes, macro mistakes, maybe even now like some draft issues coming through.
Yeah, and listen, this is always a difficult one because I think all that is true. But you do have to also put some pride on the name of Fnatic, right? Because they came into this day as the underdogs for many people and many analysts and supposed experts, right? Not saying supposed, that's just a joke. You are definitely an expert.
Definitely getting thrown under the bus a little bit.
Definitely an expert being included. But they just came in with a game plan. And you talked about how important the early game is. And they have just showed how strong they can be with an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's why before we said Fnatic's bot lane, they're making a statement. Because they're actually playing super well, getting their early leads. I think Broxah in this game here, while him and Jankos were kind of trading ganks quite often, I think Broxah was still able to have the impact he needed for Fnatic to keep getting this advantage. But I think actually just looking at the two side lanes, that's why I'm really seeing a lot of big positives. Again, the bot lane for Fnatic, and then Bwipo actually getting a lot of good leads, you know, getting that solo kill on his side. He got the early turret on top side as well. Whenever G2 are trying to kill this Renekton, they struggle. He's really able to actually apply a lot of pressure on the map. So I think these two sides have been amazing for Fnatic.
We're very close to getting into game 3. People at home think that Fnatic is going to take the series. We did ask in game 3, maybe they interpreted it as the entire series with 63% of the votes. So they flipped their vote as well. So are you willing to flip your vote as well? Is this where Fnatic wins? And so how? Or is G2 fighting back? If so, how? Frosk.
Why do I have to go first?
Well, I had him first before, so I thought I'd give you a
You can just say you want to see the
advantage.
draft first.
I do really want. Can we wait until the draft?
We're not doing the draft here, I think. I can request it.
We can just tell the casters what we said after the draft.
Okay, we could do that. But
Okay, if the Twisted Fate goes through again, I'm like, nah, it's over. I think the Twisted Fate will probably be taken away, or we're not going to see another TF Akali matchup. I think that one's donezo. But again, like, this isn't just a brain problem from G2. This is also a finger problem from G2. There's a lot of like mechanical mistakes that aren't characteristic. I don't think G2 are playing a good best of 5. Fnatic are smashing
They're pushing them,
Are
yeah.
playing. They're not just pushing them. Like Fnatic are just rolling them over into their grave and like throwing on the dirt. And like G2 did not look like they came to play.
may I just say, if you're looking from the sidelines and you have no stake in the games and you're just a spectator of the playoffs, this is kind of the ideal scenario because you have a Fnatic that could go straight to the finals and a G2 that is knocked down off their pedestal for the first time this year and has to fight back. But as said, I'm not going to believe it until that final Nexus falls. And it could be right now, but we will see. Fnatic, they are just one win away from a spot in the summer finals. Let's see if they can pull it off. Whew.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. And yes, I want Deficio and Frost to actually give me their predictions after seeing draft. I'll reference it in game. Just a quick shout out to everybody watching from Chile in the LLA finals between Isrus Gaming and Anor All Knights. I'm going to try this. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Hola a todos en Chile, mirándonos mientras esperan la final de la LLA entre Isrus Gaming y All Knights. Y hola, Latinoamérica!
That was a good effort. I
Hey,
respect
you know
that.
what?
Well done.
Oh, please, I hope I didn't say anything wrong. Welcome back. This is match point for Fnatic versus G2. G2 have elected blue side this time around, and just before we see the picks, Fnatic have never lost a series after going 2-0 to start. And that is since 2013. All I say is good luck, G2.
Yeah, good luck to them. Let's see how they adapt in the draft, because as we heard on the Analyst desk, it does feel like this Twisted Fate pick is something that G2 are struggling to find an answer for. Yes, Caps is handling him fine in terms of the 1 versus 1, but the impact is too insurmountable, so there it is. G2 will remove the Twisted Fate. The question is, will they also remove the Corki?
And my biggest wonder is, G2 on blue side, what is their ideal first pick? I thought maybe it's the Yuumi, but they banned that one away. Another option is take the Rakan away from Hylissang, assuming the Fnatic do not remove themselves. We've seen in past matches between these two teams, support picks like the Pyke be very impactful. I think this series, the Rakan may be that.
Yeah, I'm looking at... So the thing is, I think if you first pick Rakan, then Fnatic will actually go Karma Pyke bot lane. I think that'll be the immediate answer. So I think Fnatic is actually fine giving up Rakan, and instead will look to ban away one of the other carries. Maybe something like an Akali, ooh, maybe even the Morgana, maybe they themselves. Yeah, so this is where I'm immediately thinking Karma Pyke will come out from the side of Fnatic.
Let's find out. I really want to see it. I really want to see Hylissang piloting it every single time the Kai'Sa hover has been a thing. And what are the other directions we can take? Because obviously Sejuani, Gragas still up, and Jankos we've seen prioritize.
Yeah, I think Gragas definitely here coming through from Broxah. And then we think, does Nemesis go back towards the Corki? We probably wait for his pick to come as the third here, and then we can ban away 2 options, maybe see if Cap shows his hand for what he wants to play in the mid lane. And then Fnatic, very likely they hold Bwipo's pick for last. Get that counter pick onto him, because we saw in a favorable matchup, Bwipo can absolutely dominate in that top lane.
Yeah, for sure he can. Remember that Corki is still up and available. I wonder if G2 will actually look to take that one away from Nemesis. Ooh, we actually get to see an Akali locked in for Fnatic.
This has not been Nemesis champion all summer. He has not run the Akali.
And Bwipo hasn't played it either. This is the first time Akali now on the side of Fnatic. This is just not a champion they go for. And we know in the regular season, Fnatic played the least unique champions out of any team inside of the LEC. So they could have been holding this for a long time, but to pull it out up match point against G2 is a bold move for sure.
Well, G2 will actually emulate Fnatic's draft from the previous game with the Rakan and Gragas locked in. I do think the Gragas can be a very effective pick into the Akali as well, but the Sylas will likely be the answer to this Akali pick. It's something that Caps favored heavily during MSI. He was able to win the matchup on both sides multiple times, and it's something that is a big comfort for him, as Fnatic answer with, of course, another signature Hylissang pick with the Thresh in the bot lane.
Oh, I love this. Up against the Rakan as well. If he tries to dive into your team, you hit him with multiple chain CCs, lock him down. The Xayah is next to you as well. So the chain CC is absolutely here for Fnatic, and it gives Broxah the tools, if he chooses, to play around this bottom lane and shut down Mikyx, who has been punished in the past games.
And also, Hylissang has been one of the players that has performed very well this series. He's found his targets. He's got the necessary abilities to land. And if he goes fishing with those death sentences, it will be the end of the series for G2 Esports. Now we are into phase 2. Ezreal Lucian has been denied from Perkz, and Gangplank the response from G2.
So now it's about denying these mobile marksmen for Perkz. Deny him the ability to escape easily from this Thresh, and now that those picks have been taken off the board, well, the only other thing that really has mobility is the Tristana, and I don't think that's really a Perkz champion. Yes, I'm sure he can go to it if he wants to, but he is usually much more about these stronger marksmen, these ones that can fight you inside the laning phase, and the Tristana, while you can go for early all-ins, can definitely be punished here.
I'm wondering if we think a Draven could be a possibility. I'm not saying that it has a high likelihood, but if you want something aggressive to play around, oh, okay, the Kai'Sa makes the most sense. It is the safest. It would just be something that can easily play into the Xayah. Scales very well into the later stages as well. And we're going to see more engaged tools come out from the side of G2 Esports with the Kled. Considered a relatively safe blind pick on the current patch, something we've seen a lot of hit in Europe, and that's also why we're seeing both the Gangplank and the Jack span coming out from the side of G2 as well, to allow Wunder to have an easier matchup.
It finally feels like G2 have the better tools to start off a fight. We've waited 2 games for this to happen. It didn't come through until just now, but now they have the options to run in and to fight you. But the top lane matchup is one they must be careful of, because this is something that Bwipo can try to run you down in.
It feels like that Fnatic have a very strong pick/skirmish style comp. This is what we typically see from the likes of a G2 Esports. It's something that their style is what they usually go for, which means that we're going to be seeing a lot of Hylissang and Broxah roaming together once again. They can look to play around mid lane if they want. They can also play around top lane, but in the mid game, expect them to do something that they did a lot of during the regular season, which was, rather than group up and fight, actually attack the side lanes. Very reminiscent of what we saw in game 1. Create these 2v2s, 3v3 situations where you can skirmish and fight rather than go for full-blown 5v5.
The thing they have to look out for again is G2's ability to force on top of you. With a Predator from a Gragas, with a Kled as well, a Rakan, these guys will just run you down if you don't give them the respect they need. Perkz on 2 items wants to be fighting inside of your face. So it's about G2 finding the fights they need. They've been lacking all series long.
G2 have never come back from being down 0-2, and Fnatic have never lost a series when they are 2-0 up. The stakes could not be higher, and this could be one of the most surprising results in recent times. Let's see whether or not G2 can bounce back for more. Let's hear what Laure has to say with Fnatic's coach.
YoungBuck, do you think it's a sign of weakness from G2 that they would choose blue side at last?
Yeah, when the second game finished, we knew we were going to play red side because they were going to select the blue side.
All right, well, usually I would ask about the mood within the team, but with this experience roster, I feel like it's irrelevant. So tell me why this is the draft that will get you to finals.
I think Akali is actually really strong, and they don't have the answer into it, and we do. So that's really defining the series right now.
All right, well, I wish you good luck, and back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Nemesis Akali. They don't have the answer. Let's see what he can do on it. He's played very, very well. And just a very brief reminder of how G2 and Fnatic have looked the last few times they've met in playoffs. In spring semifinals 2016, G2 won 27. Similarly, in last year, in the spring finals, it was Fnatic that got the better of G2 Esports. The vast majority of analysts and professionals anticipated a G2 victory today. The debate was how easy it was going to be.
Yeah.
And this is a surprise. And the thing is, I've actually seen a lot of criticism on socials right now and mixed opinions. There's 2 sides to this story. G2 are not playing to the level that we expect and anticipate. Their draft in game 1 did not work, and it was poorly played. And Fnatic are playing decisive, proactive, surprising League of Legends. Those two things combined is showing this stark performance difference in the teams.
And I think it's really telling too, because Fnatic showed us the formula to beat G2 earlier on in the split. You know, they got that first win when these two teams faced off against each other. Game 1 and 2 were very reminiscent of that same form of attacking you super quick inside of the early game, shutting down G2, because if G2 fall behind, they struggle to claw their way back in.
The funny thing is that what we saw when they rematched the second time round was actually Fnatic trying a similar style, but G2 were the ones coming out ahead in a lot of these skirmishes. And I think it was something that resonated with me was what Frosk was saying on the analyst desk, which is that this isn't just a decision-making problem, this is a button-pressing problem, where G2 are just executing not as well as they normally do, and Fnatic are outperforming them individually.
Now, you mentioned Frosk on the desk. I do actually have an update from Deficio and Froskurinn, which I'll reveal in a moment as Wunder and Skarl are doing some good work. Hylissang finds the death sentence. Oh, thank you so much, Hylissang. Froskurinn and Deficio are predicting a Fnatic 3-0 because they believe Hylissang is the MVP of this series, and it was his death sentence that gets first blood for Fnatic.
But it's also something that we've been seeing from Mikyx throughout this entire series. He has made so many mistakes, and he is constantly being punished by this duo from Fnatic. They draw first blood, they find the advantage. Fnatic already looking good in Game 3.
It's first blood onto Rekkles too, can be able to go back, probably pick himself up a pickaxe or something along those lines. See it one more time because it's just, everyone knows this. You kill the third melee minion in the wave, you hit level 2, but it's G2 also getting that breakpoint, but they go for the all-in. But it doesn't work here because the turn is just way too powerful. It's aftershock on Hylissang as well, so the damage just can't go down. And even though Mikyx went for the same, you know, equipment in terms of runes, that's what I'm looking for, it just doesn't help him. The turn is too fast, the chain CC is way too much.
It was so stunning. Ender had a stutter. Really, really well played, of course, and there's a pro view from Hilly. So now no flash on Mikyx. Flash is still available on the side of Rekkles, and Broxah looking for some opportunity wonders.
Yeah, Broxah's pathing was to set up for a gank around the top side of the map. He does have the option to try and set up a dive or just ward hop over the wall and go for a fight, but instead, because he did see Jankos on the bottom side of the map, can take away this Gromp camp now and continue to deny Wunder. Wunder's probably going to have to TP back into that lane, but if he sticks around, could just be the dive.
Broxah now hits level 4. He's posturing around the top side of the map. Here he comes.
All right, Skarl is making his way up. Nope, not doing anything. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, very clean from Fnatic. Once again, they're snowballing this early game so effectively. And it's reminiscent of what we saw in Game 2. Top lane dies, bot lane dies. And while mid lane is going relatively even, it's a non-factor right now in this series as Bwipo is getting all this advantage, and the same is happening for Rekkles and Hylissang.
Oh, body slam flash comes out from Jankos. Bwipo is in trouble. Flash is already used.
Is he?
300 HP, flash forward. And he's going to find a stun.
Oh.
He comes out and... Look, they made him work for it, but the kill did come in.
It was a really greedy teleport, though, from Broxah. There's no doubt about that. Now, Broxah, or Bwipo...
Bwipo
yeah, it's
TP.
Bwipo with the TP, but Broxah back in towards the middle lane. The game is going faster than my tongue can go.
Have a drink of water, my friend. 2-1 up. Fnatic pull 800 gold ahead. And yes, the greedy TP from Bwipo was punished. I'm waiting to see if Hylissang can find a target. Not just yet. Instead, Jankos... correction, Broxah makes his way into the Dragon.
So Caps TP'd back into lane first, which means he had the edge in terms of the push, but Nemesis immediately goes to the trade, so now he has a health advantage. This means that in terms of the fight around Drake, Fnatic is in a better position, but notice how 3 members of G2 are just forcing their way into the river. They're utilizing the numbers in order to gain access, but they still have to deal with the wave. So Fnatic is still in a better position, but for the time being, G2 will stop Fnatic from taking the Drake.
Hey, Frosk, it's not my fault. Production fed me MVP of the series, so, you know, like, don't call me out on that. Producers, that's your fault. I'm looking at you, Kevin. Nevertheless, 1,000 gold up is for Fnatic, and G2, my eyes are going to be watching them. We have been speaking a lot about Fnatic because they are the team that have surprised. They've come out with a draft that they've executed well, and they've had individual standout moments, but G2, they're down in the series, they're down in the game. But they do have the capabilities to come back. We just haven't seen it shine yet.
It's just so surprising, right? Because we compared their regular season performances, and G2 was considered the best in every role and every position, with Fnatic not being too far behind. Ooh, we do see another hook land onto Mikyx.
Valée into death sentence, as well as the ignite. Mikyx's going to be flying around, jumping to his teammates, but nothing further.
You also have the rest of Fnatic, you know, jungle and mid roaming down, putting down deep vision on top of Red Buff that's just spawning as Bwipo takes a really aggressive trade.
Okay, bear trap on a rope into Dominus. Wunder did not want to lose the mounted position on Kled, so he was backing away. Now in the mid lane, Nemesis is looking for Caps. Caps is in trouble! Nemesis solo killed Caps. That could be the game-defining moment. Fnatic also get themselves a kill. Dragon, correction, that's an Ocean Drake. Still no Infernals, by the way, as now Fnatic, they extend that gold lead even further.
And this is what we talk about when we say that this is a button issue as well for G2. We saw Mikyx missing his W bot, getting killed by Hylissang and Rekkles. We see Caps taking an unfavorable trade in the mid lane and getting outplayed by Nemesis. We can see that he's at a health disadvantage. He's able to land the stun, but he can't hit him in stealth. Nemesis utilizes the Shroud perfectly. A delayed flash comes out from Caps so that the auto still comes through, and Nemesis gets a very easy 1v1 as Caps just tried too hard to force that play.
And YoungBuck said in the interview that the answer to Akali is not on G2's side. Nemesis, in his debut Akali in Summer, manages to pick up the solo kill, and he's got a small advantage as well.
So G2's choice of attack, you see Wunder sitting in the bush. They're bringing up Jankos to try and make this gank happen. No Dominus, no flash on Bwipo. Should be easy.
Okay, Slice and Dice, not seeing his use just yet. There we go. Not gonna get chased down. The charge comes up from Wunder. There's support from Caps as well, and Bwipo does go down. Only a dismounting.
Fnatic answering on the bot side.
4 members of Fnatic now chasing. Mikyx gets a 2-man knockup before he jumps back to Perkz. That's a double flay though. Perkz manages to use the ultimate to survive a few seconds longer. Hilly's escaped the tower aggro, and Rekkles will dodge that final turret shot before they turn back for plates.
Yeah, they still want Mikyx though. Mikyx has the flash, so trying to chase him down, going to be able to escape right there. It was such a clean dive from Fnatic. When Mikyx went for the knockup, no one from Fnatic had it tagged, so they didn't draw tower aggro, and that's why they were able to pick up that kill.
So the difference here is that Fnatic secure plates in bot lane, whereas G2 don't in top. So yes, they're doing a good job of putting Bwipo behind, but the gold gap between Rekkles and Perkz is only continuing to accelerate as we see Nemesis going in on Caps once again.
Yeah, what's that coming over the hill? But it's Broxah, and he's got himself a kill onto Caps. While that's going on, down in the bottom lane though, Jankos with the help of Perkz and Mikyx did get themselves a double. So 4 kills to 5, it's still 1,000 gold, the difference, and Perkz is on the board.
So right now, Nemesis is just straight up outperforming Caps in the 1 versus 1. And yes, Broxah did come to assist, but that was just Caps overextending in the mid lane. Fortunately for G2, they're able to at least answer back in the bot lane. They get some gold into their back pockets, but more gold is being funneled into Nemesis, and that death bot lane is still going to mean that the Rekkles and Hylissang still very strong.
Right, so I just took a chance to look at what actually happened in the bottom lane. We'll check out the replay first, though, because it's Fnatic overstaying in the bottom lane. After getting the kills, notice Mikyx and Perkz both come back to lane. Jankos had reset with the Predator Boots, comes back down towards bottom lane, and they can find the easy kills underneath the tower. A great cast and follow up there from Jankos as Mikyx draws the aggro.
So this time, Perkz and Mikyx were the ones that were able to find the punish. They really did need that to at least get some momentum back in their favor, because if we just quickly take stock of the items, you can see the Rekkles already has the BF Sword and Caulfield's Warhammer completed. The Moby Boots on Hylissang mean that he will now start looking for roams, and while he is not level 6 just yet, he has his eyes set on Mikyx.
All right, Mikyx gets caught by a death sentence. Now, there will be some kills here, actually, as Mikyx escapes. That's fantastically done. Jankos has now joined the fray. No ultimate available. Hilly goes golden thanks to the stopwatch. Broxah and Rekkles now have support from Nemesis. The fight started with Hilly, and now it's led to a kill onto Perkz. Jankos! That is some bad button pushing if I've seen it with a failed flash. It's not done yet.
Yeah, Caps and Wunder are here, and this guy is stuck. Brock's actually going to ward hop over the wall here, but they're going to be hunting him down. He doesn't really have anywhere to go, just trying to waste as much of G2's time as possible.
Now, he does still have flash available while that's going on. Bwipo is taking some additional plates up top. Manages to get away from Wunder, and the charge is not angled correctly. That's a dash forward, and Broxah will go down, shut down. 3-1 to Wunder's Kled.
But look at all the plates that Bwipo is picking up in the top lane. Nemesis doing the same in mid. Even though G2 find this kill, Fnatic are the ones coming out ahead in the gold lead, and now Fnatic's bot lane once again have their eyes set on Wunder.
Yeah, they're setting up another trap. Wunder doesn't have anywhere to go. He does have the flash, though, to try and escape from this. Fnatic won't be able to follow it.
Yeah, sentence target. It curved around. Wunder's going to try flash away. He gets dismounted. Pocket pistol to try put some additional distance, but look at all the wards for Fnatic. No matter where Wunder goes, he will get spotted out. Waddle, waddle, waddle. Death sentence misses. It didn't go quite as exciting as I'd hoped, but Wunder escaped to this life.
Look what G2 are doing, though, with the time wasted. Fnatic, they want to push and die, but right now G2 have 3 members on top, so I think they should pick up Herald.
Okay, Flame pushes Wunder backwards with the help of a tower. Hylissang! He's gonna get caught! He's gonna die!
Oh, this game is descending into madness as G2 now look for a fight in top lane.
All right, G2 not gonna find the barrel. Bwipo stands down Perkz, not gonna be able to do anything more. All of a sudden, Nemesis, he's gonna wish he could have cancelled that one. He manages to get a kill with the help of a tower. Holy crap, man! That is fantastic damage. Nemesis gets a double, almost doing more. While that was going on, the tower gets taken up on him.
Yeah, and Broxah killed Wunder in the bottom lane as well. These guys are playing dirty, and they're not giving each other time to think. G2 were able to respond in the top lane after Wunder picked up that 1v2 kill down bottom side, but it's still Fnatic that come out on top of gold as Nemesis pulls off the 1v4.
This is normally the style that G2 thrive in, but Fnatic are taking it away from them and beating them at their own game. They're going to secure the first tower of the game, and notice how they're the ones in a 3k gold advantage. Caps, meanwhile, getting killed by the tower as he tries to secure that plate.
Wow, unbelievable performance from Fnatic. Extend that gold lead even more. There's a fight going on now in and around the red buff. Oh, that looked quite cheeky from Broxah. He does manage to escape. I think he picked up that red buff as well.
Nope, Perkz grabbed it.
Was it Perkz that grabbed that? I couldn't see the timing on that one. So nicely stolen away there by Perkz, who's 2-3-2. Got himself the man immune and the pickaxe, and it's up to G2 again. They're playing from behind as Broxah's looking for another Ocean Drake.
So I want to try and use this time now to think about next steps for both these teams. For Fnatic, they want to keep these skirmishes going. We talked about how in the draft, this is the style that Fnatic want to play. 2v2s, 3v3s. They have a lot of pick power with their composition, and they've also got a lot of early game power, the likes of Hylissang, Renekton, Xayah, Akali even. Now with the Gunblade completed already at 13 minutes, Fnatic want to just keep these skirmishes. G2, they need to slow the game down. They need to rely a little bit more on
They're going fast right now.
Unbelievable. Another skirmish coming out. Jankos starts the fight. Wunder's coming to help, and so is Caps. Keep your eyes on the minimap, though, because Fnatic have multiple members in the mid lane. Man, that's a Q from Renekton just does so much healing. But while that's going on, the rest of Fnatic are pushing in the mid lane.
This is the thing. Every time G2 try to force these fights, Fnatic are creating a point of pressure elsewhere. They're trading it for something. And now they are getting more plates in the mid lane. Think about it. Only now are the plates disappearing, and Fnatic have secured like, I believe like over 10 of them. It's ridiculous how many they've been able to pick up just because of how well they are punishing G2 every time they try to attack one of these side lanes.
And what this has resulted in is now Nemesis with a big lead over Caps, almost 1,500 gold. He's finished off the Gunblade as well. And when we look at how Fnatic want to play out the rest of the game, it all revolves around Nemesis. His ability to solo out Perkz in the backline and just make any fight that looks like it's going poorly an instant win for Fnatic.
You talked about soloing out Perkz. Nemesis getting a solo kill on the Caps is something that surprises a lot of people. Look at the pressure Nemesis is putting onto Wunder right now. Reminder that the only member of Fnatic who didn't make it onto the number 2 All-Pro team, well, the only one that did was Hylissang. The rest of Fnatic were on the All-Pro team number 3. Do you guys remember who was All-Pro for Summer?
I do.
Do you remember every single member of G2 was unanimously voted? And I think, for varying reasons, every single one of these players is underperforming to what we expected from them coming into this game. There's been glimmers, you know, there's been moments that were good. Seeing Caps being beaten up by Nemesis this game is disheartening. He had a great game in game 1. But it wasn't enough to help G2.
Of course, All-Pro is based on regular season, and we do think that G2 deserve it based on that, but this is not regular season G2 that we're seeing, and this is not regular season Fnatic either, as they are destroying G2 Esports.
Well, this Nemesis has got some sort of playoff buff for sure. Now, just as I start calling out G2, they sneak themselves a kill onto Hylissang, and now they are the ones pressuring mid-tower.
It's a really slick cast there from Jankos. And remember, G2 win when they group up and fight. Right now, they do not have the charge, even though Wunder is on the flank, but they have the numbers, and they want to force down the tower.
Also remember, Wunder is 5 kills to 2 deaths. He is the most fed member of G2 right now. The tower stands as G2 run out of minions, and they are forced to back away.
So I like the play from Bwipo there, utilizing his ultimate to zone G2 away, because if they get too close to that tower, he's going to stun them up, and the follow-up from Fnatic will be real. Fortunately for G2, they were able to find a pick there, so they can stem the bleeding just a bit, but the gold gap has now stayed to about 2k. So it's gone a little bit better for G2 Esports after they found a couple of picks that Fnatic haven't been able to convert into much, and this means that moving into the mid game, G2 will be in a better better position, but that does not mean that the game is suddenly in their control. Nemesis is so strong, and he has an AD carry that is just as fed right behind him. Fnatic is still in a very scary spot, and G2 have to be very careful about when and where they pick their fights.
And right now, Fnatic are probably going to be trying to turn this into a Rift Herald. They have 3.5 minutes before that one will go down, but right now with the TP on Bwipo, I think this is the next thing on the map for Fnatic to take, because Nemesis is so strong. If you choose to fight around him, he will carry the fight for you.
Fnatic also spotted out Wunder, given that there was a control ward in the enemy bot side that just disappeared. This means that they have insight into the fact that this teleport will not be able to come through from Wunder, and they can keep the Renekton here to create more pressure to set up for this Herald.
Fnatic want to keep the pressure up. They just finished off the rapid fire cannon for Rekkles as well, so they use that to force down this mid lane, get that push on in, and transition that into the river. Notice the Scuttle Crab was taken by G2, so all of their movements are known up here, and that's what's sort of slowing them down at the moment.
What's also going to be really important about this Rift Herald is it guarantees someone a mid lane tower. When that drops, suddenly the map opens up a lot more for you, and you get given a lot more options. So obviously both teams put a lot of value on this, and that's why they're making sure that these towers do not fall.
And that's something that'll be interesting for me, because during draft, you guys both spoke a lot about side lane skirmishes and how impactful it can be. But until, you know, those side lane towers and the mid tower are unlocked, you're still in this kind of extended phase. Nemesis will take the top tower down.
So let's have a very quick look at the minimap. Notice here that we can see Wunder in the bot lane, but the group up from Bwipo in top. They've sacked this top lane, and they're going to make the trade for Rift Herald. The end game is that they will be able to use this to guarantee the mid-tier 1, which they might not even need the Rift Herald for, as a lot of G2 members are backing away.
I want to see how the rest of these skirmishes and fights play out. G2 have definitely shown a penchant for throwing everything they have at Fnatic, and for the most part, it has not worked out. They are still down 2,000 gold, and G2 Esports will have to deal with the Rift Herald push. Right now, they're at risk of being collapsed on.
And G2 need to decide how to deal with Nemesis. He's level 13 right now, the highest in the game, rushing towards his Rabadon's death cap. Cap's down 2 levels to his lane opponent at the moment after getting solo killed by the player who's in his rookie of the year, the player that replaced him after Caps decided to leave. Now with Nemesis drawing over towards the Drake, G2 realize fighting is futile. They have to split up, go farm side lanes, because they can't contest Nemesis.
Now, if you are a fan of Fnatic, just a quick reminder that if Fnatic win here, they are still not guaranteed worlds. There is a possibility that Schalke 04 could win the summer split. This will give G2 Esports the 2nd seed, and that will mean Fnatic will have to fight their way through a gauntlet. So keep that in mind, that Fnatic, they need to keep this form up, not only today, but next week in Athens as well. And we'll see who will be facing Schalke on the Saturday. As it stands, Fnatic are defending themselves in the top lane.
So this is probably the slowest game we've seen so far between these two teams, which is funny considering there have been 21 kills. But the point that I'm trying to get at is that the skirmishing has slowed down a lot, and I feel this is a better map state for G2 to be in. I feel like that what they want to do is rely a little bit more on scaling. They're looking for team fights, which means that they need time to set up for objectives. Whereas Fnatic, as we mentioned, will be looking for picks, will be looking for skirmishes. So when G2 is making the movements to set up for these objectives is when Fnatic will look to attack.
And also for G2, if they want to be the ones playing offense, it all comes through the pressure in a side lane from Wunder first. He has to have the push and then be able to find the roam, but he's never going to get that when he's matched up against Nemesis in the side lane.
Okay, I need some expectation setting for the fight. Big items were picked up. Luden's Echo for Caps. Death Cap for Nemesis. Oh, the death sentence is not going to be enough to kill Caps just yet. The barrel comes up. Bwipo gets dashed forward. There's so much damage on the Jankos. He's forced away. Broxah flashes. Nobody's died just yet. Finally, Mikyx goes down. Nemesis turns his attention to Caps, who is flashing to safety. He's stolen a dominance, and that's what's kept him alive.
Yeah, Fnatic have now won the fight, and they can move that into the Baron. They're dropping down the Herald to buy time for them as they go over towards this objective. It is a huge win for Fnatic. G2 are going to be slow, and they're going to have to run into this river and contest the 5-man stack of FNC.
Jankos has got himself smite, but he doesn't have flash or the ultimate available. Jankos needs to maybe try. Do they risk conceding it, or does Jankos go for a steal? They've got no vision, no information, giving up the Baron.
Without any wards, it is impossible. It is with Fnatic's clutch fight in that middle lane. They pick up another 20-minute Baron absolutely incredible. This game that went slower than all the others, Fnatic are still able to find that fight that counts, and it's Broxah starting it off with the kick, and everything else came behind.
But I feel like it was this initial pick that came down onto Caps that really cemented the whole fight in favor of Fnatic, because you force Caps out of the fight immediately, and then Jankos gets collapsed on by Broxah, and he kicks Jankos into a position where he can't really contribute much. Then you have this the fight divided, so there's not an appeal for Perkz, which means that Nemesis is a very easy target to lock down. Wunder is then split off with the rest of the team, and Fnatic end up coming out on top. Yes, it only means 1 kill, but it results in a Baron as well.
Oh man, now what can Fnatic do with this Baron? 5,000 gold up. They've got themselves access to the inhibitor turret already. Wunder on his Kled was trying to push out that bottom wave, but he's just recalled to join the team. Charge is available in a few seconds, and if Fnatic stick around, it is one of the engaged tools that can get utilized. For now, Fnatic appealing to the top lane.
I've been so impressed by how Fnatic have been playing these games, and honestly, Nemesis has been the biggest difference maker in this series. His Twisted Fate performance in the first 2 games was what allowed them to find a lot of those picks and a lot of the early game advantages, and now on Akali, 4-1 and 4. He is having a fantastic performance, finding a solo kill onto Caps. He could be the difference maker that takes Fnatic to the 3-0 and secures them a final spot in Athens.
Look at the top lane right now. G2 aren't defending. They know they can't. Fnatic are way too powerful, just trying to buy time as the cast goes out for basically nothing. Wunder is still in the mid lane trying to deny Fnatic a minion wave, but they've got one right there with them.
Okay, the Nexus turret is somewhat being sieged here. 1.5 minutes. Couple of autos will get thrown down. Remember, Rekkles, he's got his hands on that rapid fire cannon and the Essence Reaver. Takes a lot of damage, throws out the ulti.
Look at this flank from Wunder. Fnatic are getting closed down on, and they've been chunked out already. Wunder, does he want to commit for it? He's going for this wide angle, but it doesn't look like G2 want all in just yet.
No, they're just going to disengage from that one. G2, yes, they lost the top lane inhibitor. I feel like Fnatic should have also looked to disengage. They realized that they couldn't rotate round to mid to secure a second inhibitor because they did not have that wave that Wunder was pushing in mid. So G2 were just going to have to live with the fact that they lost that top inhib. Fnatic still have control. A minute still left on the Baron buff, and there is room for them to still gain some advantages off the back of this.
G2 have to figure out some way to stall because Rekkles is an absolute monster now as well. He's finished off the Infinity Edge on the Xayah. Fnatic, they only have 50 more seconds of this Baron buff, but any fight they take, it feels like they are going to win it. Their carries are way more powerful than the side of G2, and if it's their fight that they choose, they take it.
And I feel like G2, they want to find these team fights, but I don't know at what point they even can, because just the level difference alone between the 2 mid laners gives so much additional damage and stats that I'm not sure at what point Cats will even be relevant enough to turn a fight in G2's favor. G2 have so few options with the strength of Fnatic right now that they just kind of have to sit back and watch or hope for Fnatic to make a huge misplay.
And in this fight, if G2 are going to draw the line, there's no flash on Perkz, there's no flash on Mikyx, none on Jankos. Finding the fight they want is going to be so much harder. Whereas Fnatic, they've got everything. They've got the cooldowns they need. They have the Baron for just one last second. Not going to be able to use it to catch it on the tower, though.
And of course, Perkz using that TP, he was trying to deal with those supers in the top lane, push that wave up, buy as much time as possible. Down 5,500 gold. G2 Esports, the defending champions, the MSI champions, are at the verge of being 3-0'd by Fnatic. Just a reminder that Fnatic have never lost a series after going 2-0. G2 have never been able to bounce back from being down 0-2. It's just the level that Fnatic is displaying is, again, fantastic and beautiful to watch. And it is also frustrating and disappointing when you see what G2 have brought to the table today.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like, you think about it, right? And I mean, many analysts put G2 as one of the top teams going into the World Championship.
Yes.
People would stack rank them and say, like, some people would even consider them favorites to win. And while people still had high respect for Fnatic, I was one of the people that felt like they had big holes in their gameplay that could be taken advantage of, and G2 is one of the best teams at doing that. But it feels like that this is a very different Fnatic that we're seeing. 2 weeks of hardcore practice onto a dedicated opponent has worked wonders for this Fnatic squad, and they've refined their early game playmaking. Their mid game has been extremely strong, and their ability to just constantly force skirmishes and then convert them into objectives has resulted in a stellar performance against the likes of G2.
Fnatic have showed up today with all the answers against G2, and there's only one question left. can they close? And can they close 3-0? Right now, they're in a perfect position to do so. One more minute on the Baron before that spawns. The top lane inhibitor is still going to be down. It's just one last fight, and Fnatic punch their ticket to the finals in Athens.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Of course, both of these teams will appear. One of them will play on Friday against Sjokz, and that appears to be G2 Esports right now. G2, they are still playing from behind. Perkz is picking up all of that side lane farm. He's got himself the Phantom Dancer, and he's dealing with those super minions as best as he can.
He's the best bet right now for G2 Esports because, as you rightly said, Quickshot, all the resources are being funneled into him. Caps is just kind of doing what he can to stay relevant, but he's 3 levels down. If we have a look at the gold, mid lane, there's a 3,000 gold gap. Bot lane, there's a 2,000 gold gap. Wunder does have a gold advantage, but he's not going to be the person that decides this game. It's going to be a matter of Nemesis and Rekkles versus Caps and Perkz. And right now, the gold difference means that Rekkles and Nemesis will win that every time.
Now, I want to take a look at the G2 perspective, because you guys entered a few moments ago, this game has slowed down. And it is because 20 kills happened in the first 15 minutes of gameplay. Over the course of the next 12, we've had 2. So, let's see G2, they're trying to defend against this Baron, but they're down a significant amount of gold and itemization, as Vedius, you were just talking about, but they've at least nudged Fnatic away from the ejector.
And if G2 are going to have one chance, it has to be a miracle flank. Right now, Hylissang lands the hook on towards Caps. Not going to commit for it anymore, but they have this mid lane push. They can actually go and take a tower.
Going to be pushing in. Minion wave to work with as well. Jankos has got the barrel, remember. Wunder has got the charge as well. Tower will be falling. Wunder goes forward, but the bear trap on a rope doesn't find a target. Nor does it not.
They got Rekkles!
But they've got Rekkles! Rekkles gets caught out. He had his flash, he had his feathers, but he was killed where he stood. Broxah's going to be the focus in the back end, though. And
Look at Nemesis!
Flies in and takes down Mikyx. Goes golden. Wunder's left to kill him. You have Bwipo's coming in for support, but it's simply not enough. It's a crazy fight in which everybody dies.
It's a 3-for-3 in the end, but Wunder and Jankos stay alive, so the fight would be a 1-1 if G2 were able to continue. Still, it is not in the end. G2 can't turn that into anything else.
So, 2 things. Remember that G2 lost a tower, but finding a 3-for-3 in a gold deficit, this is a good thing for G2.
It's a good thing for G2, but look at what they spent. Flash on Jankos, flash on Mikyx, flash on Perkz. They spent everything to get the kill on Rekkles. And yes, they needed to win that fight, but Rekkles is going to have everything coming into this fight. Again, fantastic start there from Mikyx. Uses the flash and the quickness to give no breathing room for Rekkles. But now coming to the next fight, it's not going to be the same.
Watch this flash from Perkz here. Reacts to seeing the Nemesis ultimate, even though Nemesis still gets the kill. Well, double kill even. You just showcase the power that this Akali has. Level 16, all these itemization, but Perkz did everything that he could to survive, and if he had, this could have been a 1 fight and maybe even a Baron for G2. But as you rightly said, Quickshot, they're at a deficit. To find that team fight win is a big edge for G2.
It is. Nemesis is sending a big signal to G2 Esports right now as they have opened up the base and got 2 inhibitors available, as well as a Baron as a potential option.
Look at the top of your minimap right now. There's a recall that keeps getting canceled by Mikyx. He knows the only way G2 win a fight is the perfect flank right here. He doesn't have the flash to make it happen, but he has to go for the full loop around onto Rekkles. He must be able to find Rekkles before the Featherstorm comes out. Otherwise, it is a lost fight for G2 and a lost series for the MSI champs.
Take a look at this. Is the recall going to complete? Level 10 on Mikyx. He's not going to. He's stuck around the entire time, waiting.
Does he know?
No, they don't. They popped over the wall.
They popped over. There's a blue trinket now that's just thrown down. Mikyx's vision's been denied.
But Rekkles is so close to him, he can actually get the charm over the wall. Not if he walks out of the pit, though. That makes it so much harder.
Jankos has thrown the barrel in. Perkz jumps away. That's onto the backside. Nemesis in trouble. He flies back in with a shuriken, but he's down. Perkz gets the kill. That's another one now for Caps. The 2 carries of G2 Esports. Teleport's available for Wunder if he wants to chase. He's recalling to heal. This has been in.
Look at the wards behind the Baron pit. They're going to set up the fight with the TP.
Here comes Wunder! Broxah and Rekkles are the targets, but it's already killed to Mikyx. Has he bitten off more than he can chew? Jumping forward to the bear trap on a rope. That's going to be another kill for Caps. Turning his into Rekkles. All of a sudden, Rekkles back in. Perkz and Rekkles is turning back around though. That's so much damage. Jankos and Wunder trying to do the damage, but look at the feathers. That's coming back. GA pop from Wunder. Rekkles dances around everything.
That could have been such a massive team fight for G2, but then Rekkles in the clutch steps up. He's able to find 2 additional kills, stop G2 from getting the Baron, and now he's in a 1v1 against Wunder.
Wow, the third All-Pro ADC has something to say. Skull is just about to get popped. Here comes Jankos. The barrel throws out. This will just slow down
TP
Rekkles'
behind, TP behind.
Teleport from Fnatic on the minimap. That's a
They got the turn!
They've got the kill!
They need to get out.
TP
It's 2 members. It's 2 members. Nemesis coming in on the flank. He doesn't have the ult just yet, but they want to get the kill. They need to stop the channel.
Oh, going to do so just right now. There's the pocket pistol. Wunder will get taken out by Nemesis. Where has Jankos gone? He's escaped for now, and the Smite needs to stay alive for potential Baron.
But can Fnatic actually start the Baron right here? Their AD carry is going to be down for 30 more seconds. Perkz has respawned onto the map and is going to be clearing out the wave in the mid lane. It was a never-ending fight between these 2 teams, but is G2 actually holding neck and neck with Fnatic even down?
Oh my word, and so much of the praise needs to go to Mikyx. That flank was actually so important because when Perkz went in, what he did was he forced Nemesis to take a route that was straight into the path of Mikyx. So Mikyx kept Nemesis preoccupied for the majority of the fight, which meant that they were able to find that pick, they were able to find that kill. Now the regroup Fnatic looking for G2.
Over 10,000 damage in a single team fight is what Rekkles has done. G2 are running for their lives. Swing and a miss. Hylissang does not find anybody with a death sentence, but Mikyx should just about be at risk. Nemesis didn't want to overchase. The focus is the win. The focus is the Nexus, and Fnatic.
Look, pings. They're looking for the flank once again.
It's Caps with the TP, not Wunder. So Caps is going to be coming in from behind here. Mikyx and Jankos from the front. They need the collapse. They need to kill the Fnatic carries.
All right, Kled charge is still available. Baron is still being focused, down to 4,000 HP. Perkz can jump into the pit, and he does so. Turns the damage onto Bwipo the Baron. Who's going to pick it up? It's secured by G2. Grabbed with a sigh of relief. Perkz is killing Fnatic. And as it stands, Fnatic are now floundering the lead. They've conceded the kills and the Baron.
With their backs against the wall, G2 are able to turn it around, and they have the push in the mid lane. They're going to try and take it over.
This is the thing. Both the carries are dead for Fnatic, which means that G2 have their eyes just set, running it down mid. They think that with those death timers, they can actually look to end the game, and that's forcing Bwipo to base.
Listen to the chants. Let's go, G2, here in Berlin. Will we get another game? G2 Esports, they've closed the gold lead. They've closed the kill lead. They're learning to push their buttons, and now they're pushing Fnatic against the wall. 20-second death timers. The inhibitor is falling, and G2 are not going for the next.
G2 will pull away. They knew that that would have been the 50-50. That would have been everything going away had they forced further. G2, they're now right back into the thick of things in this game. Right dead even in gold. They've lost 2 inhibitor towers, but their inhibitors have respawned, and this team is now primed and ready to team fight.
Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else, the majority of fans thought Fnatic were closing this out. The expectations from Deficio and Frost was that Hilly would have a pop-off Thresh performance that would close the series out, and G2 have found scrappy team fights to claw their way back into the game, and a crucial Baron steal from Fnatic's hands.
And I have to apologize because I said that Wunder would not be someone to carry this game, but he's had a monumental performance in these later fights. Now level 18, he is nearly full build. 9-3-5 is the scoreline, and he is doing so much work for G2 Esports. It is so tense between these 2 teams. The game can still go either way, but the fact that G2 have been able to hold the line and Fnatic have failed to close means that we could still have more games in this series.
I think it's so important to take a look at how this game has been Fnatic focused for 32 minutes. Only in that last Baron fight have G2 given themselves a moment, a breath of hope. But like you rightly said, Vedius, exposed inhibitors, top and middle for G2, a downed inhibitor for Fnatic. The next big team fight mistake.
Oh, that was tense.
Caps is very brave. He's a very brave
playing
man.
with your limits.
You know, it's very, very bold, but he does escape thanks to the empowered recall. And all of a sudden, Baron is slightly wearing off.
Whew. All right, so the Baron is going to disappear soon. The map state is pretty much even. We're getting to a point in the game where gold doesn't really matter. You can see 2 junglers, as per usual, still scrounging for gold, trying to be relevant. but it's all about the carries. And you can see that in terms of the mid lane difference, it is still huge. Given that Nemesis is nearly full build, 4 fully completed items, but Perkz is now done. He's level 18. Everything is primed and ready. And if he was going to carry G2 to another final, this is the setup that he needs to do it.
And this is exactly how G2 like to play. Put as much resources in the mid game as they can into Perkz. He is their late game insurance. Now with full build level 18, as you said, it must be him carrying in these fights. And as the last seconds of Baron tick away, we're gonna reach a point in the game where we're waiting 2.5 minutes for that Elder Drake to spawn. That one could be huge in the hands of Fnatic, but at the same time, there's a Baron coming onto the Rift as well.
Oh my word, if we still have to wait 2.5 minutes, for G2 Esports, this is uncharted territory in the summer split. Why, you might ask? Well, here's a quick stat. This is the longest game G2 have played all summer long. And they may need to go yet further. 5 members of G2 Esports following their captain and leader. Phantom Dancer, Rageblade, Scimitar already picked up for Perkz, so he's pretty much at full build, and that Death Sentence didn't find a target. Fnatic, though, they're going on the offensive.
Perkz.
Barrel comes out from Jankos. That was a good disengage. And look at the mid lane. Wunder's going to usher them in.
Exactly that quick shot. Fans at home always need to keep an eye on the minimap. Oh, the Wunder flank, look at this!
Oh, here we go. Kled charge is available and can come in. Look at the quickness. That's a dash forward. Mikyx already dead, though. He's bitten off more than he can chew. GA from Bwipo is being popped and propped. Cap's running for his life, and Nemesis is trying to get the damage down.
Grabs was shaking his head at G2's decision right here. They fought in the funnel, and Fnatic turned everything onto them. Now chasing down Wunder, who has the GA, but can only run for so long. There's a TP into the base. Perkz is going for it all.
The captain's trying to do it. He's gone in. Bwipo doesn't have a GA available, but the teleport alone has forced the recall. The chasers have stopped, and now all of a sudden there's a TP onto Wunder.
There's TPs all over the map. Perkz does not have a ult, but he does have the flash. He's going to have to use it to get away, but Rekkles wants to fight him.
Rekkles has got the rapid fire cannon. He's waiting for the range. Nemesis, he's almost in trouble. Wunder's now dashing away. It's a fight to the blue buff as well.
There's fights all across the map right now, but it's G2 falling time and time again. Cap's trying to buy as much time as possible, but it's 3v2 coming in.
A stolen Dominus is keeping Caps alive just long enough for Jankos to get a kill. Now Wunder is trying to help out his jungler. Jankos goes golden thanks to the hourglass, and he will get taken out by the feathers. Perkz, by the way, is now shoving in the top lane. G2 almost through the game, but from the clutches of defeat, they scrappy fight their way back in.
Oh, I don't think it's over yet. Nemesis has his eyes on Wunder.
Round 3 of Nemesis versus Wunder in the last 2 minutes. It will not conclude in a kill. Mikyx is now the next target.
All right, so that was a pretty intense fight between the two teams. Gold is a non-factor right now. It is all about the execution of these team fights. A lot of GAs got used in that last fight. Bwipo and Wunder have gone. This is actually a really big deal in the upcoming fight because Bwipo is the main front line, and he cannot buy as much time as Wunder can, who is now recalling, has the TP, and is looking to join the fray.
Neither side has a smite coming into this fight. That's going to be the double teleport now from G2. It's a 3v4.
All right, Mikyx trying to help out Wunder. Oh, that's already a kill to Bwipo. Nemesis is now being focused down. Perkz manages to kill Rekkles. Nemesis is taken out by Caps. And all of a sudden, G2 set their sights on the base.
G2 take the 3 versus 3 and come out on top. Nemesis goes down, Rekkles goes down, and Bwipo was short to follow. Caps and the gang now looking for the rest of the kills.
Absolutely the case. Hylissang and Broxah are being run down by Caps. Caps had stolen the perfect execution, but it's Jankos that sends him packing. The inhibitor is being taken out by Wunder. And ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else, we have a series on our hands as G2 Esports have bounced back from the clutches of defeat, from the clutches of embarrassment. And we are going to game 4 as G2 win their first game in the series. The laughter, the jovial nature, the celebration.
It's still there.
is simply not the same for G2. That was a smile for a win.
I mean, so because it was such a long game, it's tough to say whether that was a Fnatic throw or a G2 comeback. Because I feel like that given the position that Fnatic was in, they had all the tools needed to end that game. That should have been Fnatic's 3-0. That should have been Fnatic cleaning the game out. but somehow G2 were able to stall things out and get to a point where they could find a few more late game fights, a few more opportunities, and then end up getting a Baron that actually allowed them to end the game.
Everything turned at that Baron when Mikyx waited for so long to find that flank. It was that flank that put G2 back in the game. Yes, they'd won a fight just before it, but all the odds were stacked against them. Going into that next team fight, they had almost no tools to throw at Fnatic, but it was Mikyx's positioning in that to single out Nemesis that turned it all around.
But I also think that in every single fight, the fact that Perkz was getting kill after kill after kill was doing wonders for him. Because of the deficit that they were at, every kill he got gave him such a big experience advantage, which means that after all the gold was being funneled into him, on top of all those kills he was finding, he was the one that hit level 18 before Nemesis, before Rekkles, and in the end, he was the one that helped carry G2 to a win.
We're going to have a whole other game to talk about these teams, but just a reminder, G2 Esports have never won Game 3 when going down 0-2 until today. And so a little bit more exactly how G2 did it over at the Analyst desk.
Thank you very much. And Fnatic had never lost after going up to 0 or losing the series at least. So I think we're just throwing everything out of the window. Can I just say, let's take a deep breath because we watched, I think, the last 20 minutes of that just almost not breathing, wondering when it was going to end and how it was going to turn.
We forgot we had to do a segment.
I mean, we
were
actually
just watching.
forgot that
Frankly,
we were still analyzing.
Literally, if the camera turns around, you can see that PGL is set up. Like, no lie,
yeah,
we're
we
like,
thought this
it's
was
over.
over.
It's going to be Fnatic. This is what we want on the desk.
Okay, well, let's regroup here. First question I want to ask you, because you had strong feelings about it. We heard there, was this a Fnatic throw or a G2 comeback? And you both had very strong feelings that it was a G2 comeback. Why?
Because so Fnatic obviously played the early game very well. They win that fight at 20 minutes where they get the early Baron, which was a great play, and I think they surprised G2 by doing that. They took most of the base, but it didn't feel like in a pure 5-on-5 setting, mainly because Wunder was so fed, but also there was a Rakan on the side of G2, that Fnatic were just like way stronger, and it was like unlosable at this point. It actually always to me felt like it was even in this fight. I tried to get out in the mid game.
It was like where your power was.
Yeah.
It was for G2, all of their power was on Wunder, and for Fnatic, for a huge part of that game, all of the power was on Nemesis. And as soon as that Akali versus Sylas gap really had closed, because for a portion of that game, Sylas was rocking around at like level 13, while Akali was level 16. It was just a massive gap. But slowly but surely, G2 found their way back in. They closed up the gap, and suddenly teamfights really started shifting a turn towards G2. And I feel like ease of execution for those team fights, even though they were very scrappy, I personally favored G2's call.
All right, let's take a look at a bunch of those team fights then. I'm going to start with the final one because even until that moment, you could not predict who was going to win. So talk me through this.
Well, sadly at this point for Bwipo, he's not tanky on Renekton, and he will actually die very, very quickly. So he doesn't have a GA, he drops instantly, and it's already 4 members of G2 when the fight starts, and you can see Broxah and Hylissang try to join at the end. I think Fnatic there, they were kind of like, okay, last chance at the moment, like let's go for this Baron, see if we can get something out of it. But at that point, it just felt like, okay, G2 have stalled for long enough. Now they can just burst down people.
And then they've stalled for long enough, but if you're already a level 16 on your Akali, do you feel like Fnatic dropped the ball in pushing their advantage or took some of the wrong decisions in the mid game, or how should we look at this?
I mean, this game was nuts. I'm sure you could probably make an analytical argument for both sides of the coin and then kind of show the counter argument within the same game, because this had every single flavor. This had some teams going full brain dead, some teams just popping off, some teams having genius moves. I will say that for me, the main takeaway, you mentioned the Baron. That's two times now that I've seen Fnatic do incredibly smart Barons. And I think it is something to watch in this series. Their Baron takes have been so crisp.
Yeah, I completely agree. Their decisiveness in terms of Baron, just as it spawns, is very impressive. But they also got one stolen away from them this game. And I think when you're talking about games getting out of control and nutty, this is definitely an example.
Yeah, and this already at this point, it felt like this could go either way, but their fed Kled was always a problem for them, and Wunder is able to sit in the front line for quite a while after flanking. The steal will probably come later.
Yeah.
Rekkles tries his best here to get as many kills as possible, but we had, what, like 10 of these fights where honestly it could go either way. Like one little thing happening, so this is the one where Jankos gets into steal, Caps is already flanking. And the moment he gets the steal here, again, another big advantage for G2 to come back in this game. But it was such a mess. I can't blame Broxah at all, because at this point, it is just a blind 50-50.
Wow, okay.
I mean, I know I'm supposed to, like, at this point, you know, talk about hype, deliver it, but frankly, watching this game,
Analyze it, Frosk.
I was just starstruck. I was, like, dumbstruck by some of the crazy cool mechanical plays. Like, in the same fights, you have someone just being like, that's amazing, that's incredible. In the same fights, like, oh, you're having a bad game. Why'd you walk into that?
How poetic. The yellow glow of the sun setting over the discussion that Fnatic is having after they lost their first
And a guy
game
with healthy snacks. Very important, everyone at home.
Is that symbolic, yes or no? We will see. But they do have the snacks. Deficio, I know you're a big fan of those.
And they have the first 20 minutes in the back.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's important to highlight, that Fnatic has consistently been able to do extremely well in the first 20 minutes. Bot lane here again, they get early kill on their side. Yes, they lost top lane for the first time, but Nemesis got a solo kill 1v1 against Cap. So I think if you are Fnatic, it's obviously super hard not to be really angry about the lead you just lost in this game here, but you should really just focus on the fact that the first 20 minutes, you're dominating in this series.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some replays from that early game as well, Frosk. Indeed. Are you surprised with how well Fnatic has played now 3 games in a row in this early game?
I mean, no. I expected Fnatic to come out to match. Yeah, to match G2 blow for blow. I still feel very strongly that this is not the best form of G2, that individually they need to clean up. It is starting to ramp back up, so I hope that we see G2 at peak form. Like, this is Fnatic playing amazing, but this is what you always want when you come into a series. You want both teams to play amazing, and we knew that Fnatic's early game was always going to be one of their strong points.
And I know there was a lot of like big plays from a lot of people in this game here, but if you do end up winning this series, right now Jankos is the one I'm just looking at, who completely saves this early game for them so they don't fall too far behind. They were down in gold most of it, and Nemesis had 4 kills on an Akali, but Jankos was able, with the Gragas, as we see in these replays, to pull off ganks in almost every single lane and really keep his team in touching distance, which is super important in this game where Fnatic got the early Baron, got ahead in gold, but it just wasn't enough for them to completely roll over G2.
G2 are being pushed to the absolute limit by Fnatic. And, you know, you have to wonder about the presence of mind coming into this series, knowing that both teams had time to work with coming into this best of 5, and Fnatic just look better. But is this now the start of a shift? Are we going to see more of this G2 fighting, or was this just a blip?
I mean, I think the focus is going to be on early game. I think now both teams will go backstage. G2 shouldn't reach for any of their weird, crazy pocket picks or whatever it is. I think it's back to grab the champions that we know work for them, grab the strategies that we know work for them. In terms of like mentality shift, normally if you're in a series where there's like a huge experience discrepancy, I think that matters more. But because it's Fnatic and G2, I don't think a loss here damages or swings things either side. When you're against giants like this, the game is not over until the Nexus goes down. And we saw that exactly play out there, and that's going to be every single game if this goes the distance between these guys.
And just ignoring like potential mental state of the players going to next game, because we don't know who's feeling pressured or who's mad about the loss or whatever, I think Fnatic can win the early game again. Yeah. I think Fnatic can get the early Baron again and close out the game. So to me, this doesn't suddenly swing everything in G2's favor. I assume Fnatic will pick blue side so they can first pick Rakan in this game, because you're actually not getting punished in lane other than Mikyx 1 death, which was just him being very greedy in the brush. You're not getting punished for first picking Rakan, and it is having insane value in these team fights, which we know we will have, what, 10 big team fights in these games here. So I like the TF ban from G2, and I actually think now first pick Rakan seems to be working for both teams.
But do you think that G2 ban it because they also recognize the power of their Rakan because they've also first picked it? And is this actually going to come into a series of who actually gets Rakan, Hilly or Mikyx?
I mean, looking at the bans G2 have been using on red side, we had Aatrox, Gragas, Corki in game 1, Aatrox, Yuumi, Corki in game 2. I think the Corki you can let go. Yep. And if you want to ban Rakan, you can do it. Or if you want to ban Twisted Fate, which you probably should on red side.
I think it's TF, Aatrox, Rakan.
If you do that, that's one option.
But
the other one
Yuumi
is you can also do Yuumi, Aatrox, TF, give them Rakan, take Akali for yourself, and then you trade and say, listen, we can play against Rakan.
Hey,
there are other supports to grab.
difficult for us to figure out, luckily they get paid the big bucks to figure it out, and hopefully they have a plan. Let's see, because Fnatic, they may have given away 1 match point, but they are still on match point. But G2, they are not backing down, and they're looking to force a game 5. When we return, don't go anywhere.
All of a other side of Nemesis, he's gonna wish he could have cancelled that one. He manages to get a kill with the help of a tower. Holy crap, man! That is fantastic damage! Nemesis gets a double! Tower will be falling. Wunder goes forward, but the bear trap on the rope doesn't find a target, nor does it not.
They got Rekkles!
But they've got Rekkles! Rekkles gets caught out! He had his flash, he had his feathers, but he was killed where he stood. Broxah's gonna be the focus in the back end, though. And
Look at Nemesis!
Flies in! Perkz can jump into the pit, and he does so. Turns the damage onto Bwipo the Baron. Who's gonna pick it up? It's secured by G2! Grabbed with a sigh of relief! Perkz is killing Fnatic!
Oh my god. Actually, like, live on the end there.
It's a 3v4!
All right, Mikyx trying to help out Wunder. Oh, that's already a kill to Bwipo! Nemesis is now being focused down! Perkz manages to kill Rekkles, and G2 Esports have bounced back from the clutches of defeat, from the clutches of embarrassment. And we are going to game 4 as G2 win their first game in the series.
This is my creed. The items that make me stronger. The potions that I drink. But all this leveling up means nothing if I don't level up myself. It's the healthy potions I drink in real life that make me stronger. You are your most important champion. To play like a pro, eat like a pro.
Never ever ever gonna let you go. Once I get my hands on you. Ooh, girl, got me all in.